Okay, hey, welcome, Christian. Great to see you again. It's a while. It's a while. Hey, what are you doing? What are you up to these days, and or will do in the near future?
Yeah, hi Ruben. Great to catch up with you again. Oh man, where to start? So I've been super busy with a couple of things. Completely different than what I've been doing in the recent past. Kind of took a little bit of a tour into some intelligent automation. So in a startup there, and then also working with another company in the media and entertainment space, which is really, really cool. So it's been fun getting back on really deep down into technologies and kind of trying to figure out exactly how to get these businesses going from both a technology perspective and a commercial perspective. So yeah, a lot of fun. So watch this space is what I'd say, my friend. Watch this space.
Hey, question. How would your parents describe what you do for a living?
Oh, I think they think I go around fixing printers. So like everybody is their parents' IT help desk, right? So I think genuinely, I honestly think that they, well, certainly from a Citrix perspective, they think I flew around the world fixing other people's printers. But now, yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I couldn't explain it. They think I have something to do with movies, so that's good enough.
Exactly. Same here. Same here. Like it's always tough. You're in IT. Yeah. You fix computers, right? Yeah, for sure. I'll do. Hey, what was your first job, and what was your first job in IT?
Oh wow! So my first job was actually in a record store. So as you guys probably know, I'm a big music fan. Been known to do a little bit of DJing here and there. So I actually worked in a record store when I was a lot younger, which was a heck of a lot of fun. Back in the days when vinyl the first time around was cool, right? And now of course it's become cool again. So that was a lot of fun. I guess I was about 17 or 18 at the time. And then my first job in IT was actually what was a subsidiary of Fujitsu. So there was a company called ICL that was based in the UK. And I got effectively an internship there and my job was really cool. I took the lid off old thin PCs, put memory in, put the lid back on, turned it on, make sure that the power on self-test and the BIOS worked, and then it got from 4 meg to 8 meg of RAM, and then I do another one and another one and another one and another one. And that was my entry level. I basically took the lid off PCs, put SIMs as they were then, memory SIMs in, tested it, and then just shipped them down the commissioning bay. So I learned in the really sort of old world of hardware, which was a ton of fun.
What's your best advice for your 20-year-old self? You talked about the 90-plus-year-old like British gentleman. I saw that the story. Great story, encouraging story as well. But what's your best advice for your 22-year-old self?
Looking back, I would say, I would. My biggest, I guess, bad trait, if I was one, is I'm not very patient. I like to get stuff done. I like to get, right in the middle of problems. I like to get people thinking about them. I like to get them fixed, and I like to move on to the next one. And I know for a fact that I was sort of super impatient. I was also very driven, when I was a lot younger, and sort of still am in different ways. But people used to tell me all the time, hey, just take your time. You'll get the opportunities. And I'm like, no, I want them now. I want them now. So looking back, I think maybe if I'd had a little bit more patience, I may have been able to do things differently, but certainly don't regret any opportunities that I took, and had the opportunity to go all over the world, as I mentioned, very fortunately. But yeah, patience was never my strong point, Ruben. So I think if I was to go back and say, here's a piece of advice, just be patient and more willing to accept that maybe some people are mapping out your career and opportunities that you don't necessarily recognize at the time.
Yeah. Hey, one of the two sort of jobs you described a little bit earlier is around RPA, or intelligence automation space. For people who don't know what it is, what is it, and why did you enter that space?
Yeah, so great question. So if you think about my past at Bechtel, I was exposed to a lot of what is a very typical big enterprise environment. And spending time in very different roles across my career there gives you a real breadth of understanding of what it takes to actually operate IT. So design and implement and operate all those things. And then you have a very good reason, much the same in EUC and much the same in IT as in general on the customer side, as to the real reasons of why you're doing it. And you get involved with all sorts of decisions about, which procurement system should we use, which finance system should we use, which HR system should we use? And then you begin to understand the why and the business process around it. And the more you kind of synthesize that stuff, the more you realize that, generally speaking, for companies who have existed for more than just the, let's say the SaaS era, and even those companies themselves who are older in that model, have some pretty bad work processes and some pretty bad technologies that have been layered upon layered upon layered upon layered upon layered. And so, one of the things that, and my good friend Fouad, who was the founder of Safo, who Citrix acquired back in November of 2018, he and I used to sit and talk a lot about this problem, and he used to be able to phrase it really, really well. And he talked about, the carbon-based unit, the human, only has so many atoms of power that they can deliver to any job. And then he used to talk about just how much time people spend on things that don't add any value, yet have to be done as part of the fabric of business. And so, I'd seen this problem close up at Bechtel many, many times where, we had manual processes that had been automated with technology that was designed specifically for that work process. And yet when you brought a different work process in, or you wanted to try and change it, or a new system, you'd go through hours and hours and hours and hours of reconfiguring and extracting and transforming and loading, all this manual stuff. And so, going back to when we went on the journey at Citrix for the intelligent workspace, the idea of that was really to do some of those kind of automated things, bring in technology to actually help humans be more productive in general. So my fascination goes way back in terms of like, how can we actually make IT work for the individual? So the good thing about Nextbotics, which is the startup I mentioned earlier in the call, is that the focus really is on the lower end of the market. So there's lots of opportunity to take what I would look at as maybe standardized and repeatable processes and add automation to those, especially in organizations that want to really maximize their human capital. So, the notion of RPA has been around a long time. There's unattended RPA, attended RPA. And the idea of that really is to, in a nutshell, to try and let the machine take over the human key presses, for want of a better explanation. I think when you get into intelligent automation and the things that we're building within Nextbotics, it's really a case of bringing in some different technologies to either identify processes for automation, to look at them and improve the processes in general, and then to bring machine learning technologies and other elements into the traditional RPA space to really extend it. So whether that's through advanced OCR, computer vision, whatever that turns out to be. But the idea there really is to bring the value as quickly as possible, so that we can allow humans to do stuff that they're great at, like having conversations like this, versus going back and approving invoices or moving an invoice from one system to another, or a purchase order through a system or multiple systems. So it's fascinating space. As there's lots of big players out there, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, Blue Prism, Pega, and then there's opportunity for the way I explain it, Ruben, if this makes any sense, from an Nextbotics perspective, I want us to be the Zoho to the Office and Google suite. Zoho got a great business. They just do what they do. They do it really well. And that's kind of the approach you want to take with Nextbotics. And it's been a problem I've been after solving for a long time. And so the opportunity to do it with some guys who I've known for a long time is a great space to be in.
Just have a couple of as a final question or final topic, a couple of just random, well, not really random for me, maybe for you random, for me not so much, but words. And I'm just curious, like, what pops up like this instantly when I mention that word? Here it goes. Manchester United.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Netherlands.
Dennis Bergkamp.
Ibiza.
Oh, sunshine.
Citrix.
Mark T.
2020.
COVID.
BMW or Aston Martin?
Aston Martin.
BMW.
My M4.
Nice, nice, nice. So cars and football, or cars and soccer, are like major themes for sure.
That's the religion.
Great. Great. Thanks, chatting and talking and learning and enjoying as well. Thanks for your time, Christian, and hopefully to see each other soon in real world, real life, physically. Thanks again.
My pleasure, Ruben. Thank you. Take care.